Here is everything that happened in the Owl House Season 2A. Let's go. 1.5 weeks have passed since Luz destroyed the portal to Earth and saved Ida from Belos' grip. With the portal gone, the protagonists are struggling to make ends meet, so Luz and King secretly take on a well-paying mission and join a crew of sailors to hunt for a monster. Little do they know, Belos' right hand, the Golden Guard, is boarding the same ship. While King gets captured by the Golden Guard, Luz meets Ida, who attempted to rob the ship. Finally, they find the usually docile creature and decide to play some tricks on the Golden Guard in order to save both King and the creature. One day, while advertising Blight Industries' latest product, Amity's Grom picture almost gets destroyed, causing Amity to mess up the presentation. Her utterly unlikable mother concludes Amity's recent behavior stems from her association with Luz, Willow, and Gus. Thus, she forces Principal Bump to expel them. While Amity does not dare to disobey her mother any further, Luz takes matters into her own hand by visiting the Blight Manor and striking up a deal with Odalia. If Luz participates in presenting the new Abomaton skills, Odalia will reverse their expulsion. However, the Abomaton is mad powerful, and Odalia batshit crazy. Just when Luz is on the brink of death, Amity turns up to save her and pressures her parents into ending the whole drama. Later that evening, the Golden Guard informs the Blights Belos is buying all Abomatons because he doesn't approve of citizens building their private armies. Meanwhile, after having gotten acquainted to Glyph magic, Ida and Lilith discover that the glyphs Luz found up to now are all there are, and all that are needed to cast any spell by combining them in certain ways. In the following days, they are all caught up in experimenting with glyphs, causing King to be fed up with not receiving any attention, which is why he sets his mind to proving he is the king of demons to Lilith, who doesn't believe him. Except for Rita, they all make their way to a small island with an ancient ruin on it. Lilith is beginning to change her mind about King as they are exploring the castle, until Ida arrives and reveals the truth about the time she found King there. She further explains King lost his horn while they were escaping an attacking creature and gives it back to him, resulting in his memories returning that refute him being the king of demons. Despite being heartbroken, he decides to return to the castle to find out about his true past. As the memories are gradually coming back to him, he describes how he was born and how something terrible happened to his father while he was still in the egg. They all agree to find out who King's father really was, suspecting he could be one of the powerful demons that can be seen on the castle's murals. At a later point, seeing how frustrated Luz gets over her unsuccessful inquiry about the portal to Earth, Ida tells her how she randomly found the portal in some castle ruins, when they get interrupted by Ida's mother. Gwendolyn claims to have finally found the ultimate cure for Ida's curse. However, everything turns out to be a huge scam that stresses Ida out so much she turns into the Owl Beast. Concurrently, Lilith can't fight the curse anymore and turns into a Raven Beast that turns its anger towards Ida. Luz and Gwendolyn succeed in turning the sisters back by getting their words through to them. After the situation cooled down, the Clawthorn family talks over some long overdue topics, leading up to Lilith returning home with Gwendolyn. Before leaving, Gwendolyn explains that a mysterious substance called Titan blood sometimes creates leaks to the human realm, and that there had been another human on the Boiling Isles, who is said to have left something of his in the library. Luz is overjoyed to have found her first clue, since she believes her mother is worried sick about her whereabouts. However, back on Earth, Camila is following her daily life alongside a demon pretending to be Luz. Following Gwendolyn's advice, Luz visits the library, and together with Amity, she hunts through the forbidden section in search of Philip Wittebane's diary. They do find it, but much to their disappointment, the book is in shreds, as a mouse has relished each and every page. On top of that, the librarian catches them red-handed and fires Amity. Thus, Amity's mood takes a sharp turn, and she heads home, where she confides to Amira how weird she's feeling around Luz. Her oldest sister makes her see how much happier she has become though, and in agreement, Amity spontaneously decides to dye her hair purple. Then Luz surprisingly shows up at her house to let her know she arranged Amity's rehiring at the library. The next surprise shows its face when the mouse from the library emerges from Luz's cloak and is found to be an echo mouse that can replay the words it has eaten. The Diaries' first pages describe how Wittebane came to the Boiling Isles and that he's determined to find a way home. Being pretty much overwhelmed by everything that happened that day, on a whim, Amity kisses Luz on the cheek. Let's go! In the meantime, Belos is holding a meeting with the coven heads, unveiling the Day of Unity to them, the day the human realm and demon realm will become one in order to erase wild magic. The glory of this moment is broken when Belos breaks down in pain and retreats to another room, where he transforms into a monster. The Golden Guard offers him a Palisman, which calms Belos down, and adds that the Palistrom wood supply is growing thin. He suggests to counter the shortage by harnessing wild magic, but gets shot down by Belos, because apparently their family was destroyed by wild magic. The next day at school, the students get to adopt Palismans. At the end of the lesson, each student has been chosen by a Palisman, except for Luz. She spends the rest of the day pondering about her future as a witch, and ends up sleeping in the Palisman's nest that night. Their sleep is interrupted by the Golden Guard abducting the Palismans. While Luz is attempting to seize control of the airship, they are shot down by Kikimora, who wants to get rid of the Golden Guard, aiming to become Belos' next right hand. Luz and the Golden Guard, whose face is now open to see, flee the scene, before breaking out into an argument because Luz does not want to return the Golden Guard's staff, that he invariably needs to wield any magic. However, they make a truce to at least retrieve the Palismans from Kikimora. Their plan is a success, but the Golden Guard is trying to screw Luz over. She asks whether he can really unite his actions with his conscience, to which he replies by confessing his name is Hunter, and laying open that Belos and the Titans have big plans for him, before letting Luz and the Palismans go. Back at the Emperor's castle, Kikimora is surprised to see Hunter alive, and actually realizes that it was him who took the Palismans from her. Hunter goes to his room, where one of the Palismans had been waiting for him. Ida and King also surprise Luz with a piece of Palistrom wood to carve her own Palisman. Another day, Ida overhears King telling Luz he will leave the owl house when he finds his father, which is why she is avoiding him henceforth whenever he wants to discuss something important with her. So, while she is out one time shying away from King, she meets her former lover, Rain Whispers, leader of the Bard coven, who is secretly running a revolution against Belos. Ida joins their group, and they pull off several raids, freeing wild witches all over the Isle, aiming to impede Belos' plan for the Day of Unity. Unfortunately, their last raid is a trap set by the Abomination Coven and Beastkeeping Coven's head witches. Ida and Rain are ready to give their lives in order to defeat the two, but Rain convinces Ida to return to Luz and King. While Ida manages to escape, Rain is caught. However, she is not executed, as Belos deems it more troublesome to look for a suiting replacement, since he needs all coven heads for the Day of Unity. Because Ida didn't listen to him, King announces in a Penstagram livestream that he's officially changing his name to King Clawthorn. All over the Isles, people are touched, including a demon whose similarity to King is uncanny. Following all the recent important events, everyone at the Owl House is a little bit stressed out. Therefore, Hooty wishes to help them all, and begins with King by trying to determine what kind of demon he even is. To both of their disappointment, none of the tests provide any decent results, causing King to question his entire existence, crying out in frustration and thereby releasing a new power. Believing he has failed King, Hooty leaves to attend to the exhausted Ida next. He gives her some kind of sleeping drug, unknowing of the fact that it also increases dream intensity. In her dream, Ida relives many scenes from her life when the curse messed things up. After meeting a mysterious hooded character, she finds herself being tied to a tiny version of the owl beast and realizes that the beast does not want to be with her either. They agree to do their best living alongside each other, making Ida wake up, transformed into a harpy-like figure that she can fully control. Believing he has made things worse, Hooty desires to help Luz by kidnapping Amity and making her ride through a self-made tunnel of love with Luz. The whole situation is becoming a huge misunderstanding, because out of embarrassment, Luz is destroying the tunnel and all love signs, giving Amity the impression she is rejecting her. Seeing that his last mission is failing, Hooty has a complete mental breakdown. Using their newfound powers, Ida and King make sure everyone is in safety. But the only way to stop Hooty's rampage is to make him realize he has done good. So Luz clears up the misunderstanding with Amity and they both confess their love for each other.
Let's go!
Later, Hooty is given a letter for King by the demon seen earlier, but ends up eating it by accident. Over the last few days, Emperor Belos has finished rebuilding the portal, but he cannot yet open it, and recalls how peaceful the human realm was when he visited it once. Meanwhile, in the Owl House, the Echo Mouse repeats one of Wittebane's diary entries, explaining how he stumbled upon Eclipse Lake, a place where lots of Titan blood can be found. Luz can't hold her horses and is about to embark on the search for it right away. But since she has caught the common mold, Amity, King and Ida go in her stead and hold on to the portal key for safekeeping. They enter ancient mines and follow them deep into the Titan's knee, running into all types of trouble, until finally Amity reaches what should have been Eclipse Lake, and Hunter standing in the middle of a drained basin. Hunter panics about not being able to return empty-handed, given that Belos is dependent on the Titan blood to create a functioning key, making Amity realize that the key she carries actually contains some. Inconveniently, Hunter takes notice of the key and threatens to hunt down Luz if she does not hand over the key to him. Not having a choice, she surrenders the key, but cracks it slightly before she does, thereby making the Titan blood leak into her glove, what Hunter only realizes after having returned to the castle. Using a tiny part of Amity's gloves and more information from Wittebane's diary, Luz, Ida and King build a prototype of a portal to the human realm. When Luz jumps into it, she finds herself in a dimension between the two realms, from where she can interact with both realms through mirrors. She visits a mirror in her house, only to unearth her doppelganger's presence, prompting her to confront it. The demon explains she was abused by Belos for her magic draining abilities and luckily managed to flee to Earth when Luz entered the demon realm, and is only staying with Camila because she has nowhere else to go. Stressed out by what is going on, she runs out of magic and can't keep up Luz's appearance much longer. Hoping to solve the problem, together with Luz, V scours the area to look for trails of magic Ida could have left behind, resulting in V being caught by a man obsessed with witches, etc. In Luz's opinion, there is no other way to save V than to tell her mother the entire truth. Camila comes to rescue V and promises to let her stay with her. She also comes to understand that everything Luz just told her was not one of Luz's fantasies. Luz reassures her that she is fine and is having the time of her life life on the Boiling Isles. What upsets Camila, who feels that Luz hated her life beside her on Earth. She begs Luz not to leave her again when she returns, and Luz promises to do so, just before Ida pulls her back into the demon realm due to the portal closing.